Hi, everybody, welcome back. I hope you're all doing well. So, today is Sunday and I don't post on Sunday, but I realized that I have a few stories on my phone that have almost the same pattern in there. And as we go along, you're going to understand what I'm talking about. But these are stories from women who found out about their cheating partners. All right. So let's start. Let's get into it. And leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section.
So, like, I was doing my client's hair, and she was like, "Oh my God, my cousin gets on my nerves." And I'm like, "What you do?" Making conversation. And she's like, "She just be getting in these relationships and, like, just to be in one." She was like, "And the fact that I'm finding out by her being on a Black Love page engaged to some dude is wild." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Like, are y'all close? Because, like, why are you finding out like that?" And she like, "Close enough for me not to find out like this." Boom. So she like, yeah, it says they're high school sweethearts and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, cool, that's what's up, whatever. So then I'm like, I didn't even know they had a page on Instagram dedicated to that. You know what I'm saying? So she like, yeah, I'm about to show you. So she pulled up the picture. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's my husband. And then I just casually kept doing her hair. The way she stood up and swung around and her shampoo cape flew around, she said, please stop playing with me. I was like, no, we're married. So she was like, what? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, I'm like, we're not together anymore and shit, but like, we're married. So like, I don't know how they're about to get married. And then she starts going into how the cousin knows nothing about me or that he's married. So, yeah, that's what happened. That's how I found out my husband was engaged.
The way she goes about so gracefully, so demure, the way she even narrated the story and everything is like, babe, I love her vibe, She's like, it is what it is, okay? We are divorcing now. We are no longer together. So it is what it is. But one thing that stuck out to me, which is going to be like the same kind of pattern in most of these stories, not all of them. I think one of them is the exception, but almost all of them is the families were aware. Because you're telling me he got engaged while he was married to her. The lady that he got engaged to wasn't aware that he was married, right? So I am under the impression that most of the times when people get engaged, there are relatives around, there are family around, okay? And I'm sure he's taking them to see his family. Even if they were not there, they have met this woman or they've heard about, right? But you knew that your son, your brother, is married to somebody else and nobody thought about telling the married woman or even calling him out and telling him what he's doing is wrong. So you all sat there and it was okay. You were okay with it and it's fine. Even when he called you, even if you didn't know that he got engaged to her, when he called you and he told you he's found somebody else, or when you heard the rumors, none of you felt the need to even call him out and say, hey, you're wrong, don't do that. All right? Divorce her first before you go and engage somebody else. Nobody. It's fine. Hey, and I know they're all going to say, oh, she's the problem. But this is something that happens in a lot of marriages and relationships that don't get spoken about enough. Anyway, next story.
Hey, all men do is lie. And yes, he was Yoruba. So my friend, we're going to call her Faith, had asked her boyfriend, oh babe, can you buy me a promise ring? And he was coming with all these excuses saying,
oh, I don't have money, it's too expensive, can you come?
So that's not how on one fateful day like this, Faith's friend has sent her an Instagram story of this random girl. And I told her, babe, I think you should check this out. So Faith is now wondering like, why are you sending me some random girl story? Hey, and you know how the Instagram algorithm works. You don't just randomly see some girl's Instagram story. There's a reason why Faith's friend saw that story. So Faith now opens the Instagram story and she sees that the girl has posted that someone has bought her a dowry ring. And a dowry ring is a ring that you can only purchase for one special person in your entire lifetime. Once you buy that ring for somebody, you can never, ever, ever buy it again for another person. So basically, it's like the promise ring out of all promise rings. And with the ring comes an agreement of love, which is actually very similar to marriage vows, and it requires both parties to sign it. So, it's official. So Faith is now looking at this story that this girl has posted, that someone has now come and buy her diary ring with the whole agreement of love. But as Faith is looking at it, she starts to notice like the signature is now starting to stand out. So as she's looking at the signature, she starts thinking to herself, wait, this signature is looking a little too familiar. Then suddenly it clicks. It was her boyfriend's signature. Hey, her boyfriend had gone and spend his money, his hard-earned money, on another woman to buy her diary ring. Meanwhile, Faith has been asking this man to buy her promise ring, and all he could do was just give her lies. Faith now goes to go and confront her boyfriend, and guess what? He now starts to deny, oh, it's not me on the Instagram story, that's not my signature, kinikon. So Faith said, okay, no problem. Go and buy me a diary ring right now to prove your commitment. And guess what happened? The purchase declined. Right before finishing the whole buying process, it now said that the receiver's name had to match the previous purchase that was made by her boyfriend. And guess what? It wasn't Faith's name. Hey! Anyhow, Sha, like I always say, there are 24 hours in a day. Out of those 24 hours, use 23 hours to fear men. And use that remaining 1 hour to remind yourself to always fear men. Bye.
Yeah, I believe that this diary ring concept or idea is a very, 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 brilliant idea. So if you're dating or you're in a relationship, even if you're married, get them to get you a diary ring, because I feel like that's the easiest way to figure out if there's another woman in his life. And if all women who are dating and are in relationships or marriages have these men get them diary rings, at least you will know. And if he's, hesitant on doing that, then you know that there's somebody else. It's not just you, because he can only get it for one person. I don't know about you, but I believe this is a very beautiful idea. But let me know what you think about it in the comment section. Next one.
Hey y'all, so I got some tea for y'all, baby. At approximately, 1:38 last night, I got a phone call from a man I thought was one of my men. His wife calls me. Yes, his wife. I found out he was a married man with 4 children last night. So yeah, she calls me. She's on the phone like, hey, she wasn't aggressive. She wasn't mean. She wasn't disrespectful. She wasn't none of that. She was genuinely a woman who was hurt. I could hear it on the phone. And now by this time, baby, I'm on your side. Okay? Forget him. Forget the man. I'm on your side because he thought he was Mr. Smooth Criminal to pay in both our faces. I got something for you. For real. So she's on the phone like, tell her you're married. You didn't tell her you were married? I'm like, oh, baby, you think if he told me he was married, I would be right here on this phone? No. That man told me he was single. Y'all, as men, y'all wonder why we treat y'all and talk about y'all the way that we do now? Talk to your homeboys. Start checking y'all homeboys when they moving slimy. Because, y'all, when I say I met this man's family, I met his mother. So now I'm thinking a whole group, y'all work together on this. And that lady was on the phone, like, literally just clueless. Like, her and this man been living together, I guess. And I'm just like, how was he at 2 places at one time? I have so much tea, like, I got so much tea, like, in detail, but it's just so much for me to process right now. I'm not sad or nothing like that. Like, it's a man. Like, it's just, I'm more so shocked. Because how can y'all be so ill? Like, where is the integrity, the mortality, where's your conscience? And she literally, like, she was just a sad woman. And I really hope she has a great day. And I really hope she's okay. Yeah. Crazy. I'm not gonna lie though. Now that I had time to, like, resonate and think about everything, I low-key want to get to investigating and digging. So, like, I don't know. Is that... Shut up. Not, like, deep diving, but just, like, so when did it start? How long y'all been married? Like, I didn't ask nothing. I was just answering her questions because she was the hurt one at the time. But now I really am like, I should call him and record his lies over the phone. I don't know. Let me know.
I'm so happy that she's a girl's girl, because some women, They will hear you on the phone and be like, oh, but he said he wants me. The pick me's, they'll be like, oh, but he said he wants me. And they'll be so happy with it, even if you call. Okay? Especially if they have money. They don't care. All their brain cells stop working because they think they are exception to the rule until it happens to them. Your son brought home another woman. While you are aware that he is or has been with another woman, has 4 children with that woman, and he brought home this woman, and all of you were sitting there looking at him like nothing is happening. That is fine. Because what is giving him the confidence to bring this woman to come and meet you? When he's not divorced the other woman who has children. Children for your family. Who is continuing your lineage. You don't feel like you owe her any grace, And I know someone will say, why are you excusing them? And I'm not excusing them. At this point in time, I know what they are. Most of them are grimy and it is what it is. So I'm not surprised by them. The problem is these things will not continue if they don't have enablers. If they have people who call out the BS, these things won't happen. Or maybe they'll hide and do it. Right? But it won't be as much as this. Because in most stories, you find that these patterns are there. And to be honest, me personally, this is why women who are pick-me's, male-centered, especially these boy moms who enable every behavior, their boys can do nothing wrong. Nah, I'm sorry. Alright, I'm sorry. Stay away from these type of women. Or you're going to live to regret it. That's all I'm saying, alright? Don't think you are the exception to the rule because they can sell you that as well. That she is the bad person and you are the amazing person, but they don't like you too. That's the problem, alright?
Okay, guys, let me just tell you the worst cheating scandal that has ever entered my DMs, ever. So basically, this lady was married to her husband for 14 years in total. So about 6 years in, he had to move to another state because of work. So around the 7th year, 8th year, she asked him, because they had 5 children, but they were all girls. She asked him, do you want us to try again so that we can get a boy? But he was like, nah, whatever God has blessed us with. Because she didn't want him to step out because in her culture, men really want sons. So she didn't want him to step out just because she wasn't able to give him a son, in her opinion. Okay, cool. So about 8th year, 9th year, she was asking him, should me and the kids move to your state so we're all together? He was like, nah, that where you're living in that state, I own that house, but where I'm staying, I rent. So it doesn't make sense to bring you and the 5 kids to come and rent with me, right? Cool. So he said no. So fast forward their 14th year anniversary. Every anniversary she cooks, gets the kids dressed up, and then he comes and they celebrate. This year, she called him. He didn't pick up. Bear in mind, the kids are already dressed. She's already cooked. She's already excited to see her husband. But he did not turn up. So she was angry, like, what the heck? Sent the kids to bed, settled down. Next day, someone calls her that she needs to come to this hospital, that her husband is in hospital. Bearing in mind, the hospital that they're calling from is like an hour away from her house, not the other state that he's meant to be in. So she's thinking, what's her husband doing there? So she drove down there, saw her husband. He's been beaten up black and blue. She's thinking, what the heck happened to my husband? Finds out that her husband has a girlfriend that has a son for him, allegedly. So her husband and his girlfriend got into an argument and he slapped the girlfriend. The girlfriend went to go and tell her other boyfriend. He brought boys to the house and beat the hell out of her husband. Allegedly, the girlfriend has a son for him, but because she has several boyfriends, you can't say is that his son or not. Cool. So the husband, after a week, was able to open his eyes, was talking to her, was begging her that forgive me. So she forgave him. Now, after she forgave him, like a day or two later, her husband passes away. The trauma to his brain was too much. So I'm thinking, wow, this story is really sad. She was like, no, that's not the end of it. That's not even the beginning of how her life got turned upside down. And I was like, what? There's more. Like, huh? So after her husband passes away, she's obviously mourning her husband, crying, went back to the house. Oh, a little while later, the girlfriend comes saying that I'd like my house, please. And she's like, are you crazy? What do you mean you'd like your house? You have 1 child for him. I have 5 kids for him. We've been married 14 years, blah, blah, blah. That's when the family lawyer came in. Basically, before the husband died, he wrote a will and he gave everything to his son. He willed everything to the son. Nothing for the wife, nothing for his 5 children. So the house they were living in was hers. Everything he had, he gave to the son. And I was like, what the hell? So her and her 5 kids, bear in mind she's been a housewife for 14 years, had to leave the house, and then the girlfriend sold the house. To me, this is just the height of betrayal. You know what I mean? Like, this is the height of betrayal. Anywho, she said that her local community came together, saved money for her, and she was able to get like a little apartment. And I think she's doing well, has her own business and stuff like that. But you lot just comment and tell me what you lot think, because I thought this was, my heart was like, oh my God.
So basically, hey, she's talking about states, and I'm thinking it's most likely Nigeria. Okay, so I don't understand why he was living in a different state. Maybe because of work. Okay, all right, okay. But every time she tries to go see him, or even brings up the idea of them being together, he will say, "Oh, he's renting over there. The house is here, so you live there with the kids while I'm here working." Okay, right, but if you are in a situation like that, just know that there's another woman. I'm sorry. Just know that there's another woman, especially when they insist that you shouldn't come. When you want to come see them, they're like, "Oh, don't come. It's okay. Save that money. Use it." They are lying. I'm sure that boy belongs to that woman's boyfriend. That's why they came and they beat him. The moment she found out that he has willed everything to her, she was like, "What's the purpose of you?" Okay? There was no need for you to be there. That's why he brought the man to just end your life so they can come for their house. And now, the woman who sacrificed everything for this relationship, her daughters, they've been left with nothing. Betrayal is not even a word. Men, the way they will betray you, the way they will humble you, the way they will disgrace and embarrass you. Hey, no word can even account for it. So now you and your children are out of your home because your husband decided to go out there, impregnate another woman because he wants a son. Because he wants a son. Because all the other children that you gave to him was not good enough until he got a son. And he ended up losing his life in the process and willed everything to this woman who ended his life. Anywho, if you're still dealing with men, be very careful. And this is also part of the reasons why I've always dealt with relatives at arm's length. Like, it's cordial, because I know if anything happens, they won't have my back, they'll have his back. Okay? So they are not my people. And I always say, okay. Anyway, let me know your thoughts and opinions about all of this in the comment section. And I'll see you again with another video. Take care of yourselves. Bye.